let's begin with what I thought was the most impressive series to this point. And I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds ludicrous. I even feel stupid saying it. But I watched the games, and that's how I felt when it was all done. I went, whoa. There were a few needle-moving moments. And I'm a big believer in watching a journey, watching a regular season, and seeing what sways me, seeing what moves the needle. I had a few come out of Sacramento. So let's begin. Two of them are about team resiliency, and one of them is a specific player that could be the difference in this team winning a World Series or not. Team resiliency, though. If you made it up to 2 a.m., that Saturday night game was insane. And it just shows me that they are not willing to be put away. I don't care if Mason Miller's on the mound. I don't care what it is. We are not going down without a fight. And not only that, we're going to win it, damn it. And when it's the ninth inning, and you think, all right, here we go. Their win streak is finally going to get snapped. Max Kepler stares at Mason Miller's soul and snags it in the ninth, and this is how it sounded.
Kepler swings, hits one high and deep, right field, and that one has tied the game. Max Kepler over the bullpens, onto the berm in right field. It's 6-6 here in the ninth.
Crazy, and they're doing it not just by, hey, here's a home run there, or wow, here's a spectacular Zach Wheeler performance there. It's everything. It's even Brandon Marsh in extras throwing a rope to home plate to keep the game alive, to give Kyle Schwarber an opportunity in the 11th to really help break the game open. And this was Brandon Marsh's throw.
Swing at a broken bat, pop in the air, center field. Under it is Marsh. He'll make the catch. Davidson tags. Here's the throw, and he is out of the plate. Brandon Marsh guns down Davidson. JT with a tag, and we're still tied in the 10th.
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. That was amazing. It was phenomenal. And I'm thinking to myself, this is different. Never in a million years would I'm not really buying stock in the Phillies, man. There was no world where I believed the stretch against Pittsburgh, Colorado, and the Sacramento A's would swing me this way. But it's how they got it done. It's the I'm not going down attitude that really reflects all the way back to that Arizona game to finish out that series where they just came up short, but that's when it really started to describe who they were. And it has continued all the way through this point. And what a remarkable road trip. All right. So it wasn't just Brandon Marsh. It's the man that he's battling with as well out in center field. Friday night. You can't make this stuff up, this center field battle right now. Rojas, with a mind-blowing catch in center field, helped secure that victory.
Swung on, line drive, center field. Rojas going back at the track, reaches up, and he makes the catch. Johan Rojas down on his back, but able to make the catch. And he gets some congratulations from his teammates.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. And the fact that in that game, Rojas, Bohm, Trey, it was 1-0 all game long until the Mason Miller show. And then they started to rack up a bunch of runs against Mason Miller to start this series off to give them the added insurance that they desperately needed because the Romano experience didn't go very well. But those first two games, they did something to me. And I want to know at 215-592-9494 if I'm putting too much in a series, too much stock in a series against a team that is clearly struggling big time. Because they are. They were losing way too many games in a row. They were down and out. It looked like they were just defeated at times. And they knew it. They knew they didn't stand a chance against this Phillies team for a bit there. I saw it in their own eyes. So am I ludicrous to buy stock against an opponent like the A's who don't even have their own ballpark? But there's another layer to this that I need to get into. And that is the Trea Turner experience. Because for the first time in a long time, I must admit, I asked myself this question when watching the game. And it was specifically Sunday afternoon. Unfortunately, Matt Strahm gave up the lead and you lost anyway. But when Trea gave you the late go-ahead shot, this question came to my mind. Do we actually finally have the $300 million man? Do we finally have the Trea Turner that is worth the big contract? And truth be told, I was the biggest Trea Turner hater out there. He just bothered me. His presence bothered me. I'm coming around a little bit. So this question is for the people that were on my side of the fence. The I can't stand Trea, he stinks side of the fence. Are you starting to come around? Because he's doing it in many different ways now. His 295 that I always mock, and truth be told, I still didn't think it was a very impactful 295, and I will die on that hill. When you're at 315, 320, and you're starting the game off getting on base, getting knocked in, now you're up 1-0. He's doing the same thing that we discussed Kyle Schwarber doing. Kyle Schwarber would have a nuke. It would be 1-0, and you would set the tone and have a nice lead for your pitcher to take the bump, and you already know you got some runs on the board. If you're away, of course, and you bat first. But still, getting the lead is very important. If that's the case, and he's doing that, and he's creating havoc, and he's creating chaos, and, you know, he's constantly on base, he's hitting 315, and now power starting to creep in. If this continues, we may have the $300 million man. And if we have the $300 million man, then we have a significantly better chance to win the World Series. I hope this is who he is. I'm starting to come around a bit on Trea. And that is a big deal. If you've been listening to me for a while now, you know how incredibly massive that statement is for me. Are you coming around on him? Or if you want to yell at me for even having the stance I did and say, Brodes, you're an idiot, you're stupid, you should have loved him from the standing ovation, then I could take that too. I'm okay with listening to Trea Turner lovers, and they can explain to me why I need to love him more. Not against that. 215-592-9494. Let's go to the phones. Let's kick things off in Alabama and talk to my guy, Tom. What's up, Tom?
Bro, you're a phenomenal human being, and I'm proud to be associated with you.
Oh, well, Tom, you're an outstanding human being, and I'm loving that we're associated.
Nice.
Hey, and I got to give it up, too, for Luke Nichols. That cat, I mean, he's such a nice guy, man. He does his job. He knows the deal, and he's a young cat. He's going to be the big time before it's over with. I got news for you.
I appreciate you, Tom. You're my guy.
Thank you, Luke. Hey, Turner is coming around. I mean, he's swinging the bat a lot better. He's stealing bases, too. And, you might want to watch out over there. You might have an earthquake. I think Castellanos walked like 3 or 4 times this weekend.
You know something's up when that's the case. You can't be seeing him walk. I know Bohm hasn't walked a lot this year. If that stuff starts happening. But to my point, though, Tom, it does feel different that, this team isn't doing the same crap that they were doing in years past, and they're finding ways to win, and their defense in center field is taking over, and, guys are doing things that you don't normally see. And if that's the case, then maybe there's something to this madness.
They're 5th in the league in walks. So they're taking pitches. That game Saturday night. That was a great game. You know, when Marsh that throw from center field, and Rillamuto, who had struck out 3 times, dropped that foul ball, and I've never seen him do that. He hung in there, man. He got that. He can move for 34 years old, a catcher with bad knees. Man, he is fast. He hustles. He stayed in it, and then he makes the tag, too, on that play. I mean, he can't catch up with that fastball is the only thing. But, you know, they're hitting the ball, and they just got to be consistent. And what can you say about the pitching, especially in the start? And the bullpen, too, has come around. I mean, the pitching has kept them in it, you know?
Oh, there's no doubt the pitching has been ridiculous. Luzardo, the first inning. Now, I guess you can make the argument with Luzardo out there. You know, could he have caught it? Whatever. But the fact that the first inning happens the way that it does, and then he still settles down. He seems to get grooving as the game moves along. He was dynamite after that, striking out guys left and right. And when you have that right after Wheeler and some of these other cats, I mean, good luck. Good luck. Now, the back end of the bullpen did leak oil a couple of times. How much of that is the mound? A lot of them complained about the mound, or maybe it's just the truth that we know we need to improve the bullpen. But, you know, if you get your hitting and your order right, and you get the starting pitching right, and then you got to fill the holes with the bullpen, it's not a bad spot to be in, all things considered.
I tell you, like you said, from the weekend, it was one of mine too. I mean, I hate what happened yesterday, but man, they came off the deck a couple times. You know, they came off the deck, they got behind, they came back. I mean, you know, it says something for the fight. And like I said, they're taking some pitches and all, and stealing bases too. I mean, Turner, it's something to be said about him, and Harper too. He's starting to come around.
Sure thing. Yeah, Tom, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much, Tom. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, there's no doubt about it that the team is starting to click, starting to get going here. But this A's series, I really do think I will reflect back to this A's series if all this continues. And that does sound a bit ludicrous. Because, well, Brodes, they won a series against the Dodgers, and there were other good things that they've done. Their offense turned it around against Colorado. Maybe that's what really helped them get that spurt they were looking for. But the way that emotional ride went Saturday night, early into Sunday morning, the way they were pouncing on Mason Miller, who was regarded as one of the better back end of the bullpen guys, and you know how desperate the A's were, and you were still able to pound them late, and you're able to fight back, and all that good stuff. I really look at this as a needle-moving series. And also, keep in mind, I thought Trey was spectacular. So, Luke, before we get back to the phones, I need to get your thoughts, Luke Nichols, producing today's program, on if I'm crazy to put this much stock in a series against an Oakland team that moves the needle this much, and then also the Trea Turner hatred that I once had, it's starting to stop a little bit. I think you should give me a round of applause.
Well, maybe we'll get to the round of applause later. But
okay.
I'm going to rain on your parade first, and then I'll support you. The first thing, I think it is a little crazy to put this much stock into this series. I think it was a good series win. Obviously, you beat up on an awful Athletics team. Not the Sacramento A's. Not the Sacramento Athletics, or just the Athletics, which is stupid. That's a whole other rant. I think this series, it showed that they could come back and win and fight in games, yes, but it also showed the problems with this team as well. You saw Sanchez not really have his best stuff, and then the bullpen had to really come in and try to save you there. And they kind of did, because you won the game, even if it took you until the 11th inning at 2 a.m. And then even with Luzardo, how he looked a little rough, and then the bullpen had to come in. How often are you going to have to rely on the bullpen, and how often are you going to have confidence in them? How many times are they going to show up like they did that Saturday night? I don't think it's going to be that often. I think if a starter gets touched up like Sanchez did that night and didn't really have his best stuff, and then the bullpen comes in and you have to deal with the Joe Rosses, the Jose Ruizes, the Carlos Hernandezes, I don't think it's really going to work out as well as it did Saturday night. I think down the line and against better teams, it's going to be worse. It's going to be you put in Joe Ross, and it's like, oh my God, I forgot he has to stay in for 3 batters. I can't believe we have to put this guy in there. Like, just get him out immediately. So that's my worry still, is when the starter can't have a good game. Now, for the most part, this excludes Wheeler. He has just been phenomenal. But when these starters have bad games and you have to rely on your bullpen, Can they look like this every single time? I don't think they can. Now, on
Fair,
Trea Turner.
Fair question.
On
Fair
Trea
question.
Turner, I'm with you. I was very critical of Trea Turner. I didn't think he was going to have that big of a year. I thought too much pressure was being put on him, and then he was in a big spot to just flop and show up and have like a 260 average. This is the guy that you should want as a Phillies fan. This is the guy that was almost promised to us. He's not the biggest home run hitter in the world, but who expected him to be? He's got, 8 home runs this year? That's fine. Even if it's 7, I had the stats up. No, I don't. It's fine if he has less home runs than Schwarber, Harper, Castellanos, whatever. But the fact that he's above 300, he's batting .310 right now. He's stealing bases. He's top 10 in the league in stolen bases with 14. And he's having multiple hits in every single game, it feels like. It feels like most games, especially over the stretch, he's had 2-3 hits a night. And if he's just getting on base and moving first to third, scoring runs, that's all you want from him. He hasn't even had that many mishaps at shortstop, surprisingly enough. That's the biggest critique, is that he's just an awful defensive shortstop, and he hasn't even been that bad. So if he can stay above 300, he's hitting these singles and then sprinkling in doubles and homers and some triples here or there, that is perfectly fine. That is exactly what I want from him. I'm with you.
Awesome. Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, he has 5 homers, but I do think that he'll get to 7, 8 quicker than you think, because it does look like he's driving the baseball more. But yeah, no, listen, I agree on the Trea front, obviously. When it comes to the series with the A's and the bullpen long term, I just think more along the lines of when we're discussing playoff baseball, when we're discussing the fall time, and we're discussing after the All-Star break, there's going to be so many moves that hopefully you don't have to rely on those names that you just mentioned. And I know you got to get there first, but I do expect there to be changes, whether it's internally to look at some guys to ask them to change their role, or if it's what he's going to acquire at the deadline, Dombrowski that is, where some of the holes and the issues that you're mentioning, maybe that's not the problem as we enter the postseason. Because if they don't make any moves, then it will be a problem. There's no doubt about it. I'm sort of expecting there to be some change to some degree at some point. Is it enough? I don't know. We'll have to find out to see exactly what Dave ends up doing, but I don't anticipate some of these names to be the names that we're talking about late in the season. 215-592-9494. I'm coming around on Trea Turner. Are you? And also just this series in general. I thought it was a needle mover. I really, really did. Your thoughts. Let's go to Sean in Princeton. What's happening, Sean? Good afternoon.
Roach, what's going on, man? I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great, my friend. Thank you so much for calling.
You got it, man. Hey, I just wanted to touch on Mr. Trea Turner himself. You alluded to him earlier. I'm gonna sort of focus on him, and I think there's a large part of Trea Turner that goes unsaid, and that's the intangibles, right? That's the leader or vocal guy that he is not. We have a problem at Citizens Bank. There is money burning, $300 million going up in the air, spreading out down the road over to Xfinity Live, and it's an issue. This guy, he's not the type to be firing up the team, a leader in the dugout, and is he horrible? No. But when he is horrible, he plays like it. He's not a scrub by any means, but when he's bad, he's real bad. And listen, I do see some hopes, some slivers of light, but I do think it causes an area of concern, and Philly fans should be concerned.
Okay, so you're not really buying into anything yet. You're still in wait-and-see mode. And to be fair, Sean, obviously there was a time last year where he was playing really well. Then there was that injury stuff, and then he kind of never really got back to that same level of play. And, there's a lot of baseball left, so who knows if this is more of a blip on the radar or if this is really what is going to be throughout the whole entire season, which it's hard to keep up this pace, but maybe he can. So it seems like you're still walking with caution and not really willing to buy into this yet.
Right. Listen, and I think that's the right way to go about it. I mean, when he's not producing, the guy is invisible. out there. I mean, I don't know.
But let me say this, and trust me, Sean, you know I've been on that side forever, and this is the first time I'm opening up to the other side. But you're right. When it's bad, it is really, really bad, and there's reasons why we get super frustrated. But this is incredible. Like we say it's bad, but this is incredible. So when he does this, how do we find that line as once Trea Turner haters?
Right. I'm sorry, I missed that last part there, Roach.
No, I'm just saying, how do we find that line if we're always going to bash him when he's not doing well? When he does this well for an extended period of time, there's got to be a balance that we have to find, right, as Trea Turner haters?
I think there has to be a balance, of course, without a doubt. And, you put aside the mental mistakes and the low baseball IQ moments that he's had in the past.
You're unbelievable.
I think you could give a little pay bump to the Phillies fanatics. I think he could share the wealth over there at Citizens Bank.
You want him to give his contract to the mascot?
Listen, that guy's putting in more work out there than I've seen from Trea Turner.
Oh,
so
Sean, you're kidding. Sean, I love you, dude. I love you. All right, baby. Wow. I opened the show saying I'm one of the leaders of the Trea Turner Bothers Me fan club, but maybe there's a whole nother tier that I was unaware of.
If you're the president, that guy's the VP.
Yeah. Well, he's the president. I might be the vice president.
That's actually true, yeah. I guess he took your seat.
Yeah, he wants to give the mascot his contract. Listen, I am all for the bashing. All right? I am all for the bashing. But when he does this well, this is really good, okay? This isn't just, all right, he's not stinking. He's helping you take over games. You're on a massive win streak, albeit against bad teams. Prior to this last game against Oakland, of course, they lost, or the A's, whatever. I'm going to say Oakland all show. Screw it. He's part of the reason why that's the case. Him, Stott, Harp, they're doing things. The whole team's doing things. It's a very team-oriented style right now, and even as someone who wasn't willing to give Trea a bunch of support throughout the beginning stages of the season, I think now you have to. I think now you have to.
He's hitting 340 in May.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's ever going to be a month or a time that you give him some credit, it's now. He's hitting 340 in May and 400 in the last week.
Yeah. Now listen, if you jump off the second something bad happens, I completely understand. But when things are going, I'm just saying, you got to open up the heart. All right, 215-592-9494. That's a fun way to get started here, as I'm trying to ask if you are coming around on Trea Turner, if you were once someone like me who despised everything he did and his presence bothered you. Now that he's performing this well, are you willing to say, hey, Trea, I apologize. I'm willing to look the other way here. And even if you are a Trea supporter, well, that's okay. Tell me I'm an idiot. I'm cool with that, too. Also, I'm taking a lot out of this series against Oakland. I just saw a lot of needle-moving moments, and I'm curious if you felt the same way or if it's just another series, because it doesn't seem like many feel as intense as I do about this Oakland series. But I thought this was a needle-moving series that I reflect back to all throughout the season. Remember that series against the Ace? Remember that series in Sacramento? Remember that play by Marsh? Remember that Kepler home run off Mason Miller? I'm not going to stop referencing this series. That's how important and impactful I thought it was. What say you? 215-592-9494. Coming up next, your phone calls. We will continue talking, Phil, some open lines. And at 2:45, we are going to be joined by Guy Gaudreau, father of Matthew and Johnny Gaudreau, to talk about their family 5K and so much more that's happening this weekend. It's Brodes in for the afternoon show. We're just getting started right here on 94 WIP. Let's go to Reds in Morgantown. What's up, Reds?
Hey, Luke, Brodes, what's up, guys? Happy Memorial Day.
Same to you. Thanks for calling, man.
Yeah, I just want to start just real quick. I'll make it quick. I want to today's a really big day for me. I love Memorial Day. Big shout-out to my friends Mike and Brandon, my cousin Tyler. Thank you guys so much for all you do, including all the other service members that I like to commonly refer to as superheroes. Thank you guys so much. Happy Memorial Day.
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
On to the Phils in this A series. Look, Luke, I love you, buddy. You know I do, but I got to agree with Brodes on this one. I think that this A series was pretty pivotal for a couple reasons. I think what Brodes was saying is in total, as far as how they're playing as a group, a little bit, not as much as Brodes was saying about the bullpen. I think it shows that they can come in when they need to. I do still think the bullpen is a problem, but this series goes to show you that, you know, not necessarily, maybe it's not as a big a problem as you think, but more just that, you know, if they're called upon, it's not 100% guarantee that they're going to throw a game. So I think that this, you're right, Brodes. I think you're 100% right that this might be a series to look back on and be like, you know, this might have been the one.
Right.
You never know.
No, I agree. And now some people are thinking, Reds, because this has been brought to my attention, that maybe I had the sleepy ha-has at 2 a.m. So when I'm watching the game, you were just embracing the chaos of baseball and the unknown, and you just got lost in the beauty of it, but you're not really thinking with your head because it was so early in the morning and it's swaying your opinion. And to that I say, screw you. No, I saw something that is, I like the word you used, pivotal. I think this could be a pivotal moment for this group to win that type of game. Marsh with the cannon at home, and Kepler in the ninth versus Mason Miller, the second straight night you got the Miller. I think these are real key important details that I'm not just going to pretend I'm blinded by a 2 a.m. watch.
Well, maybe I can shine some light on you for that. So from a guy who works overnight and been working overnights for the better part of 4 or 5 years now, I was wide awake, and I can tell you I had the same feeling. So I don't agree with that. I don't.
There you go. I love that. Now, Reds, on Trea Turner real quick, are you a supporter? Were you someone like me who's now opening up the heart? Where do you stand on the shortstop?
Hey, man, I feel like, it was a while back, but I want to say me and you had a similar conversation about Trea about 2-3 months ago, and I was the same way with you. I'm thinking a little differently now, and I'm definitely agree with your point with that last caller where, you know, hey, man, you got to give a guy, you know, due when he's due, you know, and right now he's doing. I think Luke said the stat, what is it, 400 in the last couple of weeks, 340 in the last month. I mean, that's nothing to scoff at, man. I mean, come on. Give the guy his due.
Right.
You know?
Those are serious numbers. And Reds, thank you so much. Seem to agree with a lot of what I had to say. I think Reds is a very sharp man. Very sharp man. Very intelligent, smart man. But yeah, listen, I agree. I think that we're sitting here watching someone rip the cover off the ball consistently and, you know, 315, 320 in that range. He's constantly on base. And guys like Schwarber who are on fire when he gets going with Trea on base. Now you're turning that into 2-run blasts, if not maybe more, if Bryson Stott works an incredible AB as well. I just really love where they are at as a team, and pivotal is a good way to describe it. I said needle moving. I think they are sort of in a spot where they had a needle moving series, but a pivotal series, same thing. I like that word for sure. Let's go to Harold in Seattle. What's happening, Harold?
Hi, it's real cloudy in Seattle.
Oh, it's a little cloudy out there?
Yeah, and it sucks. Look, I like what Trea Turner is doing, and he will help lead the Phillies to the division championship. They have a chance to go to the World Series if they don't get lazy. But I'm mad at Rojas. If he ever runs and it's 2 outs, he damn better make it.
Oh, what, the ending of that final game? How many times does Rojas get destroyed on trying to steal, though?
I mean, it's okay to steal, but you have to steal in the right, the right time. Now he will be an all-star one day.
Whoa.
I don't know when. But if he ever steals again, when it's 2 outs and they catch him, I'm gonna fly all the way to Philly just to talk to him.
This was my way of processing what happened there. I think they got to Mason Miller a couple times in a row. So then on this third day, they got one of the fastest guys to get on base, obviously. They put him in there. They told him to snag a base to put pressure on Mason Miller to see if you can get to him a third time, and then he'd be in scoring position. I don't mind the mindset. It's just one of those tip-the-cap stuff. That's all.
Yeah. But, to me, it would. I mean, I might be wrong, but it's probably Topper's fault. He probably told you're right, exactly what you said.
Oh, they told him to, for sure. Yeah.
But if it's okay, then if that's the case, I'm gonna talk to Topper too. If it's two outs, and there's one at bat left, you play the odds. Now, if it's one out, you do it.
All right, you didn't like it. I get it. People were, and thank you, Harold. I saw some mixed emotions. I was cool with it. I was cool with trying to send Johan Rojas to get him into second base scoring position to see if you could get to Mason Miller a third time in 3 straight days in that series. I was totally okay with it.